Hi, today we are going to learn about QRM, Quality Risk Management in Pharmaceuticals. We'll try to see this in a simple language by taking a story, and we'll try to trace what do you mean by this quality risk management in a simple way. So I'll be dealing this with a simple story. Assume that we have a company called X Pharma. The company name is X Pharma. They are popular producer of painkiller medicine. So they are producing a painkiller medicine. It is very popular in uh, market. So because why it is very popular, because their top priority is to ensure medicine was safe and effective for people who need it. So they are ensuring that the medicine was safe and effective for people who need it. For that, they need to carry out quality risk management. How they are going to carry out the quality risk management, we are going to identify here. The first stage of quality risk management is stage 1, identifying the risk. You need to identify the risk. So assume that this X Pharma decided to review their entire process of making of delivering painkiller medicine. So they want to review their entire process. They want to know where the uh, unwanted things are going on in the process. So they want to know that. So they went for the reviewing of their entire process of making and delivering of painkiller. So they are going to review making and delivery of painkiller. So they want to identify the possible problems that could be affect the medicine quality, from where the problems would arise, where we get issues in quality. So they discover potential risk. They discover the potential risk in the following. So they can discover the risk in the production process. They can discover the risk in the packaging and labeling. They can discover the risk in the storage and transport, and they also discover the risk in the human error. So we'll see one by one. If production process, from where the risk will arise from the production process. So in the production we have so many process. Take one of the process, that is mixing and blending. While mixing and blending, they found that in this production process, medicine's ingredients are at risk of contamination if equipment was not cleaned properly. If the equipment was not cleaned properly, when they are mixing, they are using blenders for mixing. Okay, V-cone blender, double clone blender, they will use those blenders for mixing. In that blender, what they found is your medicines are going to get contaminated by other things if those blenders are not washed properly. So one risk is arising from the production process. Second, packaging and labeling. Mislabeling on the packaging was a risk. They could be accidentally print the wrong dosage instructions or incorrect expiry date. Next is storage and transport. Storage and transport, medicine at wrong temperature. Storing and transport your medicine at wrong temperature will also lead to deteriorating in its quality. Last one is human error. There is a chance of human error, like mixing up the batches. So one batch is mixed with other batch, making mistakes while filling the containers. So this also lead to the risk. So what they did is they identify the risk in this. Let's say we'll take one risk and we'll try to see what is quality risk management. In this, we'll take production process risk. What is the risk we saw in the production process? While we go for the blending or mixing, those equipments, if they are not cleaned properly with the previous drug which they are mixing, let's say one batch is made up of paracetamol, another batch we need to make in diclofenac. Now if you don't wash that mixer or blender properly, paracetamol may contaminate your diclofenac. So that is the risk what they found in the production process. So we found the risk here. We try to reduce this risk through QRM, quality risk management. We'll see here. So second stage, once you identify the risk, you need to assess the risk. How much the risk is affecting the quality? What is the assessment? So what is the percentage? So once they identify the risk, they need to figure out how likely each risk was affecting my quality. They realized that contamination during production was at high risk situation. So what are the risks we saw? We saw production process risk, packaging labeling, storage and human errors. Among these risks, they found that contamination risk during production process of mixing and blending was found to be at high risk. So we are assessing the risk. We are giving the priority to the risk. They found that this is the high risk situation because it could cause harmful consequences to the patient, because one drug is mixing with other drug, this could cause the harmful consequences. So once we assess, we identify the risk, second stage we assess the risk. We know that contamination is the highly risky in this. Next, how to control the risk. So risks, third stage is risk control measures. So they decided to do something about this risk. So X Pharma has decided something to do about risk. For the contamination during production, they came up with a plan. So they found that contamination due to production is at higher risk. So they came up with a plan. They want to control this. What the plan is? Implement strict cleaning protocol. If you don't clean the equipment properly, then only there is contamination. Hence, implement strict cleaning protocol. Second one, they introduce quality checks at various stages of production to catch the contamination in early stages. Instead of catching the contamination after punching the tablet, if you could catch the contamination in the early stage of production, you can minimize the quality issues. So you catch that at early stages. The next thing what they are doing is they use top-notch equipments designed to minimize the risk of contamination. So they use good equipment. They purchase a new equipment which is very good, top-notch equipment where the risk of contamination is very less. So this how they control the risk. So that's what we call as risk control measures. Next, now after controlling, you need to monitor whatever the steps you have taken for control, whether those steps are going to act as such or not, we don't know. We need to monitor the control steps. So fourth stage is monitoring and review. So with control measures in place, this X Pharma continue to keep close eyes on whole process. They continue to keep eye on the whole process. They regularly tested the sample of production line to make sure there was no contamination. So how to monitor and review whatever the risk assessment or risk controlling measures you are taking, that measures are working properly. How do you know that? By having close monitor on the production line. They also monitor the storage and transport conditions to ensure that medicine doesn't expose to extreme temperature. So our main risk was contamination. They closely monitor the contamination in all the production line. That's what they are doing for the monitoring and review. So after fourth stage of monitoring and review, we'll move on to fifth stage, that is documentation. Whatever you have done till now, that is identification of risk, assessment of risk, control measures, implementation, everything need to be documented, because if we have inspection, during inspection of your regulators like the FDA, Food Drug and Administration Authority, if you are supplying your drugs in the US market, they will come and inspect your facility. You can show this documentation to the inspectors. It will give good impression that okay, your commitment towards quality is very good. It will also do the thing. So that's what the main purpose for the documentation. Finally, what we did is, conclusion is, by doing all this process, the X Pharma dedication towards quality risk management was paid off. They got good, what they are producing painkiller with good quality by controlling all the risk in the production process. So this what is quality risk management. We try to explain this as a story. I hope you understand. Thank you.